A brief history of the Fraternal Order of Eagles. The founding of the Eagles fraternity was heavily preceded by a series of marathon meetings by its key architects and founders, who had virtually cut the bridges behind them. Lo and behold, the die was cast, and they were ready to face up to the enormous challenge of founding an indigenous socio-civic fraternal organization, intensely determined in the light of local environment and necessity. What was once only a vision became an idea that lingered in the minds of these men. And the idea was born. It came into fruition when the following dynamic men of integrity formed themselves into an ad hoc committee, tasked to primarily discuss the real meaning of what has been going to explode out of their ambitious minds. They held marathon meetings for almost a period of 2 months, from May to June of 1979. The ad hoc committee became the nucleus of the dreams and aspirations of the founders. The following were the original 11 members of the ad hoc committee, who eventually founded the Eagles fraternity in 1979. The members of the ad hoc committee were the prime movers of the fraternal movement. The words spoken and ascribed to them had been refined to approximately reflect their thoughts not only of their characters, but also the movement itself. Here they are. Nilo H. Raimundo, a known wealthy, benevolent, and cause-oriented businessman, who eventually became the Charter National President of the Fraternal Order of Eagles, open close parentheses, Philippine Eagles, established 1979. The Haring Aguila. Pedro R. Balbanero, a graduate of the Philippine Military Academy, known as the strategist, muscle, and the advisor of the movement. Celso P. Mariano, a prominent election lawyer who became the chairman of the ad hoc committee and was the literary craftsman of the movement, who wrote the historic Declaration of Goals and Objectives of the Fraternal Order of Eagles and its Constitution and Magna Carta. Crisanto T. Saruca, the ever-colorful lawyer, the gut and dramatic articulator of the movement. Together with Celso Mariano, they were given the task to do the research and find the appropriate name for the soon-to-be-born movement. Rizal Alberto Cinolido, an engineer businessman, characteristically very uncontroversial, but possessed a very strong conviction for the movement, when he made a strong declaration by saying, "I have pledged not to join any other civic organization after we have founded the Philippine Eagles. I have absolute faith that the Philippine-born civic organization will deserve the support of the Philippine community." To this day, he has not joined any other civic organization. Mel P. Sampson, also an engineer businessman. He is another key founder and pillar of the fraternity. Ever generous, accommodating, and steadfast, his views and those of Cinolido run parallel. He is alive and still strong in his age past the middle 80s. Eleuterio C. Dumogho, a business consultant and political analyst. He was a fundamentalist and better remembered as the early father of the Eagles seminars. Almost unfledged and unflinching, he emerged at a time as the hardliner of the movement, strongly agitating for the restoration of the Filipino cultural and social heritage. As he always said, the Fraternal Order of the Eagles will easily stand out among its peers in support of our country. Eugenio E. Liarena, an engineer. He was very valuable to the movement. With Dominador Ordóñez, he has vastly given and committed his time to the fraternity. Dominador Ordóñez was also valuable to the movement. While he was an ambivalent founder, as he was not prepared to cut altogether his umbilical connections with Alliance International, he was fondly remembered as the eyes and ears of Nilo Raimundo. Lorenzo Tolentino, also an engineer businessman. He is a key founder of the Philippine Eagles. He designed the first logo of the movement. Wilson C. B. Tiu, another engineer businessman, is one singular founder bypassed by the history of the movement. He was so dedicated and steadfast. Unfortunately, Wilson missed the historic signing of the Declaration of Goals and Objectives of the fraternity on June 22, 1979, and of its constitution and bylaws on the 7th of July, 1979, at the Asian Institute of Tourism in Diliman, Quezon City. History failed him, but had the distinction of being one of the original 11 founders. In search of a name of the movement, the ad hoc committee deliberated for our Synod. There were several suggestions and recommendations, such as Lacan, Tamarao, Griffin, and the Philippine monkey-eating eagle. And finally, after intense deliberation and discussion, the name of the movement adopted by the ad hoc committee was the Fraternal Order of Eagles, open close parentheses, Philippine Eagles, established 1979. This was unanimously approved by the body. They call themselves the Philippine Eagles, whose guiding principle is service through strong brotherhood. Deo et Patria. To our founding fathers, mabuhay ang Philippine Eagles, mabuhay ang mga tunay na agilang Pilipino.